Donald Trump made a statement, quote unquote, to the black community, and he stated, "What do you have to lose by voting for him?" Well, we're really starting to see what we have to lose by voting for him. The state of North Carolina is ridiculous. And by voting for Donald Trump, people voted for the country to start looking like the state of North Carolina. Now, the funny thing about the state of North Carolina in the vote on election day, there were more votes cast for the Supreme Court nominee, which was a progressive, than there were for Hillary Clinton. In the state of North Carolina, they were able to win that Supreme Court position, which shifted the Supreme Court from conservative to progressive. They were also able to win the Attorney General position, okay, which now is democratically controlled. They were also able to win the governor's office. And the governor is using every tool in the book, legal and otherwise, in order to try to hold on to power. Here is the latest information regarding what's going on in North Carolina.
I can't even call him president-elect, but anyway, he's running around tweeting. But North Carolina, we still have significant problems, Tom. Let me tell you what the Republicans are doing there, which is stunning. It's going to blow you away. Of course, the governor lost. He's now fighting it, and he's challenging literally black voting precincts all across North Carolina. But they also lost a majority of the Supreme Court, 4-3. They're now trying to pack the Supreme Court to add 2 new seats so the governor can appoint them in December before he leaves office so they control the state Supreme Court. Why? Well, Reverend William Barber, NAACP North Carolina Conference Chair, joins us right now. Reverend Barber, it's stunning. I keep saying North Carolina is Alabama of the 21st century.
You're right. This is Alabama. And good morning, Tom Stibble and Mark Rowland. What these people are doing is incredibly cynical and wrong. Our governor, as you said, lost. We're the only state in the South that held off the Trump tide because we've been building this multiracial moral coalition. They didn't win the governor, the AG, and the Supreme Court. African-American Mike Morgan, who won the Supreme Court, had more votes than the people who won the governor's office and the AG's office. And here's what they're doing. The canvassing process is a normal process. We're all for that because you count provisional ballots. But what they've done is filed bogus complaint claiming voter fraud. The local boards are saying they're just wrong. They're not. Every day another local board is saying they're bogus. They did that to slow down the canvassing process because once you get to 10,000 votes, you can't call for a recount. Now the governor is calling for a recount, which is fine. He has a right to do that. But he's filed these bogus complaints over and over and over again, and we're fighting it. They're talking about having a special session under the guise of giving more money for flood victims, which should have happened months ago when the flood happened, but then calling a special session and then using the special session to appoint 2 new persons to the Supreme Court. Why? Because in 2017, the federal courts have already ruled that our districts are discriminatory and they have to be redrawn, and the Supreme Court will oversee that process. And now there's a majority of pro-democratic and progressive majority on the Supreme Court we haven't had for a while. This is bad, and that's why tonight at 5 o'clock at the state capitol, we're having a no fear, no hate, no stealing our election massive rally, and we're asking all your listeners to join us there at 5 o'clock.
But Reverend, it even goes beyond that, because now when we're talking about the Supreme Court, in the election, what took place with the AG's race and other positions, because also explain to the listeners that whoever is governor will now control the state board of elections.
Exactly. That's again, we won. And we beat them. They thought that they would, I've told people, Roland, if you want to know what Trump will do, look at what McCrory has done. the words will match the deed. But he messed up and he lost the AG's office, which means in our state, whoever's the governor controls the state board of election and the local board of election. And then the AG, is the top law enforcement officer. But Roland, there's one other thing they've done. Civitar, who is funded by Art Pope, who we call the little Koch brother in North Carolina, has now sued the state board of election over a same-day registration and early voting, trying to get those votes not to be counted, when in fact we beat them. And the federal courts unanimously said that same-day registration and early voting is constitutional, and their attempt to take it was unconstitutional. So now they have sued their own state board. I want you to get that. They are suing themselves. The same people that in cahoots are now suing themselves. The governor, Civitas supported the governor. Now Civitas is suing the governor's appointment to the state board of election, claiming that they're misusing the same-day registration and voting.
This is crazy.
It's beyond crazy, Tom. And it's because they know, and Roland and I talk about this all the time, if you build coalitions in the South where white and black and Latino people come together around a moral agenda, you can beat back this Southern strategy. They never thought they would lose. They thought they were going to ride the Trump tide, and North Carolina, we broke the back of it. Now we're prepared to sue. If they try to stack the Supreme Court, we're going to sue. If they try to take this race, they also may try to take the governor's race into the legislature role. And get the legislature to decide. Now, if that happens, that's a 14th Amendment, 15th Amendment challenge that we're going to make in court, because they would then be nullifying the power of the black vote and the power of pro-fusion coalition. But this fight is on, brother.
Once again, meeting to...
All right, so the Republicans are always talking about states' rights and people's rights, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, it looks like in the state of North Carolina, that's a load of bullshit, because the Republican Party, specifically the governor and the legislature, they are trying to override the voice of the people. So if more people had voted in the state of North Carolina, and we won, but if more people had voted, the governor would not have been able to call for a recount, though he probably, with all of the phony voter fraud claims that he's making. And remember, North Carolina was trying to institute some of the toughest voter suppression laws in the country, and everything that they did was targeted towards restricting the vote of black people. And everything that they did was found to be unconstitutional, because these people knew that it wasn't just black people, but black people together with the white people and Hispanic people being pissed off about all the bullshit that was being done in North Carolina were coming together, and they knew that they didn't have the numbers. That's why they tried to do what they did. I only hope that the people are victorious. Get that governor out, get the new governor in, don't allow them to stack that Supreme Court, really put into play fair voting rules and laws, okay, and give the people of North Carolina the proper representation that they have voted for. Now, everybody's talking about Trump and Trump won, and that Democrats need to get over the election. Well, the same thing applies here. The Democratic candidate won, and the current governor and the legislature and all the people that voted for that governor, they need to get over it as well.